Hello and welcome to Channels Book Club. My name is Olele Kasumo, and it's great to be on the show where we like to discuss all things books. And talking about books, here's one that you absolutely have to read: Corals of Youth by Margaret Olele. Now, this book is just fun. It's one of those memoirs that you pick up, you just chill out, just read and enjoy, just have fun. It's not heavy, it's very light, very enjoyable, yet it's packed with important history. I'll leave the author to talk about this book that I thoroughly enjoyed reading. Let's get to meet with her and then enjoy the conversation.
Margaret Olele is a communication and advocacy expert, advertising practitioner, writer, and author. Margaret is the Chief Executive Officer of the American Business Council, the affiliate of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. She has a B.A. in English and Literature, an M.A. in English, and an M.Sc. in Mass Communication, specializing in public relations and advertising. Margaret is a Fellow of the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria. She has several published articles, including Let Us Pray for Patrick Sawyer and Who Stole the Meat from the Cooking Pot, amongst others. Margaret Olele joins Channels Book Club to discuss her book, Corals of Youth.
Margaret Olele, thanks for joining us on Channels Book Club. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's really exciting to be here.
Great to have you. And how is it over there? Atlanta? Cold or some? Oh, this is summertime, right? Of course.
So it's summertime. This is, sometimes it gets so hot. Sometimes it gets so hot that you forget that it's not Nigeria, right? Yeah. So it's summertime. Good time.
Great.
Yeah, and Atlanta historically has not been it's not a super hot place. So it's an exciting time. Even though I think it even rained yesterday, so
Oh,
how it
really?
is.
Interesting. Interesting
Whether
world. Interesting world we live in, isn't it?
I tell you, I tell you.
Great, great, great. So it's great to have you on the show to discuss your book, Corals of Youth. Um, I mean, reading this book, I had the impression that you just let your hair down, crossed your legs, got yourself a cup of coffee or a nice drink, and just had fun with some background music, and you just had fun writing your story, laughing, chuckling at times. That's a feel your book gave me. It's really fun, light reading. I really enjoyed reading your book.
Sometimes when you write because you just enjoy the story, and you probably just want to go back and read some of these things and laugh about them as well. It may not be the typical cup of coffee or cup of tea, but sometimes you just I don't know if many people have this what I call the me time, where you just want to be, and then you run through childhood, and thankfully it's relatively good experience. So you're able to kind of ruminate on the past, and then you kind of it becomes like it almost therapeutic as you look at the future, right? So that's the kind of thing the book. So I would say a bit selfish. I wrote it for myself first of all, but then I said to myself, well, I'm sure some people may enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did feel like you wrote it for yourself, and I think that's part of what I enjoyed about it. Recently, I've been reading some very emotional books, very plenty of grief and heavy, heavy stories, and so reading your book was a departure from that. I just felt very happy reading. There was so many funny incidences that I thoroughly enjoyed, laughing and just. So I will like you to introduce your book to viewers who are wondering what we're talking about, because both of us have read. They have probably not. So please introduce Corals of Youth to viewers, and share with me what inspired you to write it.
Okay, first of all, I would say Corals of Youth. First of all, I grappled with even the title because I tried to figure out, okay, what would be the best way to describe this book. But then I thought about it because they were like snatches of memories from the past, from my youth, um, strung together, with in a string, like with beats, right? And so it's almost like a continuous story that has really no beginning or end. So you find out that the book just goes, you get this incident and then you move back, and then there's a lot of going back and forth. So Corals of Youth is what I call a collective memoir. It tells of a time in Nigeria that someone, jokingly told me that a lot of people actually did not remember those real, good times we had between the 70s and I dare say to the early 80s, when even in spite of the fact that we had military rule and all, but things were good, communities were great. So it talks about a, 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 a girl growing up in a middle class family in Lagos, in the mainland, what we all still know as Yaba, Abuli or Jayaba, and where the community life, was well strung together, where experiences both at home and at school and with friends kind of formed, the basis on which this girl grew and who she is today. So why is it a collective memory? Because if you think through, and when a couple of friends who we went to the same school, who went to, and even those who read the book, kind of where it resonated with their own experiences. What makes it also very interesting is that while this girl, who is Margaret Olele, shares our experiences, she's also looking at the external environment, so not just the social environment, but also the political, economic environment. And then she's able to kind of weave that into that conversation. Someone once told me that if you're a lover of history, then you love to have this book because the book tells the story of history, tells of the history of Nigeria at a certain time, and also at a pivotal time in the country, in the history of the country. So again, she talks through her family existence, a lot of cultural nuances, being influenced by the immediate environment she lived, which is in the southwest, in Lagos, first of all in Ibadan, where she was born, and then in Lagos, where she grew, but also having relations coming from Delta State, Ibuzo, where she comes from. Well, in Nigeria, you say that where your parents come from, is where you come from. So in other countries, like where I am in Atlanta, where you are born is where you say you come from. But again, that's another story for another day. But then having those strong influences, and all of them having complex and intricate interweaving into the experiences that kind of make her who she is and how she tells the story. Her story, which seems like almost like everybody's story about the time she grew.
Hmm. Books like yours fascinate me because the social history part of your book, I found it a lot more interesting than the bits and pieces of political history. Of course, those were also very interesting. But for me, it's it's how you took me back. I'm a few years after you, by the way. But how you took me back to...
I can see from your beard.
You can see from my bed. so
Unless you died it, but it not.
so how you took us back to those years, back in those days, how children used to behave, how children used to have fun, how children used to enjoy themselves, what schools were like, what churches were like, what what kinds of cars were being driven back in the days, how parents related or engaged with their children back in the days, how the country was back in the days and all that. I really enjoy that. And I think that the fact that we don't have those types of books written many decades, or I dare even say centuries back. It's part of why we're disconnected from our history. But with books like yours now, I think the future is secure in terms of our stories being told and documented. So I would like you to speak to that, why you picked that form. You know, you were very deliberate in the way you wrote the book, in the type of memoir you've chosen to write. Please talk to me about why you wanted it that way.
Just to your point, we don't have a lot of this. We are losing quite a lot of what makes us who we are. First of all, as human beings, and then also even as Nigerians, and I dare say as even Black people, the sense of community, moving away from the traditional sense of community, as you say, to a point where even in the city, you had that community existence where parents looked out not just for their children, but they also looked out for other people's children. Where parents even had time to sit to watch their children do like a theater show, like a dance, and they bring out dining chairs from their houses, and they're seeing the children dance and have these plays where children read together, where schools, where teachers were, we didn't see teachers going on strike, and the incessant what I would call the breakages, for want of a better word, that you begin to see the brokenness of education, where you see people, teachers who are dedicated. In one instance, even the fact that I read English and literature as a first degree was because I met my experience with the youth corps who came to teach in my school was very what motivated. So you find out that the touch points were stronger, a lot stronger. The values were stronger, not contrived, not deliberate, but sincere. And those are the things that we need to really walk back to, because we are beginning to lose that. We are beginning to live in a world where money is great, money is important, but strong values that make you grounded to be able to make even that kind of money that's decent and that can propel you to those next levels. We are beginning to lose that. So I think it was quite deliberate that we had I put that forward. Also, the fact that you had the religiosity that we're beginning to see in our world, as opposed to the frank and candid, God-lived existence that we have. So irrespective of whether you're, and I know at the beginning of my book, but I was very clear that I'm not preaching. I do not want to preach togetherness or lovey. If it happens, like I said, all well and good. But the reality is, this is a situation where, irrespective of whether you're Muslim or Christian, whether you're from X place or X or Y place, it really didn't matter, how we perceived ourselves. And so it helped in kind of molding great people. And it's not surprising that when you see people who grew when we grew, who are, they exist in different worlds, in different parts of the world doing great things. I think there's so much we can learn from that. And I guess if what you call it is social history, then so be it. Let the book, stir that piece that can make us, understand how we need to be. I don't want to mention the names of some of the people who even grew around the Abulioja, Yaba, Unilag areas, who today have been, let's not even go into the politics of it, because there are some people you want to say, oh yeah, and politics, what have they done? But who have played significant roles and who are still playing significant roles wherever they are in different parts of the world, I dare say.
You did write that your intention in the book, with the book, is not to preach unity and all that, but
Diversity.
if that message comes out, well, good. It did come out. I mean, I'm looking at your story, born in Ibadan, raised in Lagos, Delta state background, the Kano's influence. Do you speak Hausa, by the way?
No, no, I don't. I mean, I
No.
do understand the bit, but my
Okay.
mother and my mom, I mean, like I shared in the book, was
Yeah.
born in Kano, and her house is more fluent than even
That
her
you're
local.
interested. Okay.
And so,
with that kind of background, I mean, it's easy to understand when you don't want to be boxed into when people ask you where are you from. I mean, where are you from, really? At the end of the day, given that kind of
absolutely.
that kind of background, and one just wishes that Nigerians can understand that because unfortunately politicians have mastered the art of dividing our people with tribalism and all that. We need to fix that. And your story is an example. Your story tells that, reminds us of the importance of that. And there are many Nigerians like that whose stories have not been heard. They're out there and they are tribeless, so to speak. So it's very interesting. Now you see the world. You've gone out and you've seen the world. You're a global citizen these days. I would like you to round up, let's end it on that note. The little girl born in Ibadan, grew up in Lagos, Abule Oja, the Abule Oja experience. The little girl who did not like bullies, as depicted in her constant telling of the story of Lizzie, the small but fiery Lizzie in her book, who now has gone out and seen the world and has done great things out there in the world. I would like you to end this by talking about that for every child out there, especially the girl child out there.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot, Kunle. One of the things I would say is that there's no limitation to opportunities. The way you can become who you want to be. And I think it's first of all understanding who you are, and then being able to harness the opportunities around you, or even where you see that you have the gap to be able to run through those opportunities. I do a lot of digression. So just this morning, I was at breakfast with and I met a lady from Nigeria, and I could sense from her accent that she was Nigerian. Then she came over to me and I said, oh, I said, where are you from? She told me she was from somewhere from River State, and this lady has a first degree and she's doing her master's now in infotech, but she's cleaning, at the restaurant. Well, with a mindset to understand that she needs to grow. Now, you, I'm keen to know, for instance, how I can work with her on that path. And that's where the whole thing about being able to have people who are like have a support system, not necessarily financial, but people who can genuinely mentor you into becoming that thing you want to be. Whether it's your teacher or parents at home, and also you need that strong base. And once you understand that you nothing you're unstoppable. Let me put it that way. Nothing can stop you other than yourself and your fears. Then you're able to move forward and find out that there are loads of things that are still out there that you're not able to do. And then you're able to understand your strengths and your weaknesses. You're able to know, oh, okay, I'm not strong in this area, so maybe I could reach out to someone who knows this better than I, because you're not a jack of all trades. Really, I think that at the heart of everything is understanding who you are to help you move to where you want to be. And the world out there needs The world needs people who have what the world needs the world needs, and you need to be able to position yourself. First of all, understanding what the world needs, understanding what the kind of world you exist needs, and being able to work towards meeting that need from a point of view of being mentored, a point of view of knowledge, but also from a point of view of having your personality. I mean, I joked with one person that one of the songs I liked was this song. I remember I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If, and so on and so forth. I'm sure we know the song. So if I live, at least I live as I believe. The greatest love. So you need to love
Yeah.
yourselves. You need to understand and love yourself, and then you need to love your environment. You need to really love, have a purpose, love the purpose, drive to achieve the purpose. Understand when you make mistakes, go back and go check. And I can tell you the world is your oyster. And then don't be alone. Don't be that person. See if there are other people you can influence as well. See if you're the other people you can become. Not Margaret's, but perhaps the best of Angelina's and Bookie's and Obiageli's. Okay, maybe not Obiageli, because that's again my middle name.
Margaret
But you
Olele, it's been great speaking with you. It's been great having you on the show, exploring your book, Chorals of Youth. You've got so much to share with young people out there, everybody out there. Thank you for sharing a bit of that in your book, Chorals of Youth. It's been nice having you on Channels Book Club, and we look forward to hosting you again soon.
Thank you so much, Kule. Nice joining you here. Thank you.
It's great to have you. Oh, we could have gone on and on and on and on. Get your copy of Chorals of Youth, read it, and let's know what you think about it. I'm confident you'll enjoy reading it. Before we go today, there are some new books in town. Enjoy this report.
Friends, family, mentors, and mentees of Raushida Akurede Saheed are present here for the launch of her books. The Lady Collection comprises of 5 books titled The Vivacious Lady, The Radiant Lady, The Pining Lady, The Enamored Lady, and The Resilient Lady. Each book is a heartfelt celebration of womanhood through 5 compelling characters.
The themes that run through this book is one of marriage and faith. We also have the themes of knowledge. We have the theme of jihad. We have the theme of journey.
Although the books were written by a woman for women, men at the launch support the collective.
The books are wonderful, and they are books that would help a lot of women, not just Muslim women, but all women generally.
This kind of books will treat a lot of things that will make people in relationship come together and be one. And with that, the simple effect is that this nation will become a very better nation.
The author, a certified marriage and readiness coach, speaks on her journey of publishing 5 books at a time.
I didn't see myself as an author. I started by just making posts on Facebook, writing recipes, teaching people, because I have classes I teach people. And all of a sudden people will be like, you should be able to write a book. And a friend of mine said, okay, let us turn your posts into a book. So it is basically most of the materials I teach people, posts I make, and it came into a book. So different topics for each book.
The Pentalogy invites readers to reflect, learn, and find inspiration.
Time is never a friend on this show. This is where we have to end it. As usual, we'll be delighted to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumu. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.